Everybody knows why the name Sindoor was chosen.
This much is happening and the nation knows who is behind all this. Still, they are getting funded by IMF. So this is actually very surprising.
India was only adopting defensive measures.
This isn't just another border skirmish. This is a test of how long India will stay silent while Pakistan fuels terror with one hand and plays the victim with the other. From Poonch to Punjab, every attack has a message, and every silence from their side a strategy. Operation Sindoor isn't just a retaliation, it's a statement that India won't just defend, it will define the narrative. And while Pakistan attends funerals of terrorists and asks for proof, we have moved beyond words to action. Because this isn't just 1947 or 1999. This is a new India. One that remembers every martyr, responds with precision, and refuses to be gaslit by denial. The world's watching, but most importantly, so are we. Before we jump in, this episode is truly special. I had the honor of speaking with Colonel Ajit Nagrani again, a decorated officer with over 25 years in service to the nation. From counter-terror operations to leading strategic missions, he's seen it all. He's also been honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award in Corporate Investigation for his unparalleled contribution beyond the battlefield. In this episode, we decode Operation Sindoor, India's bold response to a series of calculated attacks. This isn't just a conversation, it's an inside lens into India's defense mindset and the man who's lived it firsthand. Hello, sir. Welcome back to yet another series and some challenges that are happening right now in the country. And I'm here to discuss everything with you in detail. So I would like to ask you, and I will say that what's the real-time picture of Operation Sindoor? What's happening behind the headlines and how far are we ready to go? Sorry.
Operation Sindoor. Everybody knows why the name Sindoor was chosen. So I won't go into that at the moment. But what is Operation Sindoor? Operation Sindoor from day one has been a straight case of retaliation. They hit us, our innocents in Pahalgam. After a while, we reacted on them. We reacted on terrorist targets only, 9 of them the first time. Thereafter, they again reacted on us. They escalated the matter by coming back to us. We reacted again. They came back here again. We reacted. They escalated. So Operation Sindoor has been just going on this way. The escalation fairly and squarely is to be blamed on Pakistan. India was only adopting defensive measures. In the defensive measures, the first couple of strikes were aimed only at terrorists and their hideouts. It was also an intention and an aim to show Pakistan that we can hit you wherever we want to hit you. Be it 100 kilometers away, tak to is time dikhaya hai, but we can go deeper if we want to. We've also shown them that no matter how much they react on us, we are safe.
Yeah.
The only way where they have been getting us all this while has been targeting innocent people, showing their cowardice in this entire matter, hitting people who do not need to be hit, hitting it just to gain headlines, just to create terror. Pakistan is a failed state. The world knows it. They are a terrorist promoting state. The world knows it. So Operation Sindoor, to a large extent, has shown the world India is somewhere up there. Yeah. We have our own technology. We have also purchased technology. We are able to use this technology to the fullest. And we have a reach that is way beyond what the world thought that India would have.
Exactly. Because they have attacked us so many times after escalations, as you mentioned in the answer. So from Poonch to Punjab, Delhi to Rajasthan, why is Pakistan still testing us across the map? And after multiple failures, it is still not stopping.
See, Pakistan has always tried to beat India. In all the wars that have happened since 47, they have tried to achieve this. Here was one more time. The entire gamut of the wars from then on till now. So with all the wars coming up, they thought now it is time for one more. Yeah. In the last podcast, I also enumerated the reasons why I felt Pahalgam has happened in the first place. To let down the Kashmiri, to cripple the economy during the tourist season, to tell the locals here that, look, don't think everything is safe just because 370 has been abolished. Yeah. and to also show that, yes, I still have control over Kashmir. Don't think I don't have it. So these are the reasons why perhaps this entire operation was started, which was reacted to by Sindur. Now, why are they still continuing with this entire, as your basic question was?
After the multiple failures, they are still attempting to attack us back.
You see, there is an old story about a king, King Robert Bruce. He was ousted by his kingdom by a lot of bad people who were attacking him. And so he ran into a jungle and he hid in a cave. In the cave, he saw a spider trying to climb up. Spider ka wo hota hai na, wo dhaga sa, part of the web. Yeah. You know what's a spider, na? Yeah. So spider, he was climbing the spider, he used to fall down. Climbing up again, fall down. 8 times, 9 times, 10 times, eventually he succeeded. So Pakistan wants to try till they succeed. Every time they try, उनको मुक्का मिलता है और उनको मुक्के खाने की उनको भी अच्छा लग रहा है उनको, it seems. That is why they are doing it.
Also because I think recent history अगर हम निकाल करके देखें कि हम 1947 की कारगिल 1947 से कारगिल वॉर तक की we have seen full wars. तो आपको क्या लगता है कि ये सारे जो अटैक्स अब हो रहे हैं ये एक साइन है कि एक नया वॉर स्टार्ट हो सकता है?
See, firstly, I'll correct you here. Kargil was not a war. It was a localized little battle which restricted itself to that little area of the Kargil and surrounding peaks. It was just over there. It was not a full-fledged war. Full-fledged war has basically been two in 1965 and in 1971. Otherwise, they've been restricted to the little region spot over there. So when Pakistan realizes that they're not able to engage us in a full-fledged war, they will do this pinching. This is part of the 1,000 cuts that they want to impose upon India, which I will talk about later.
Also, continuing on the series of attacks and incidents that are happening, I also want you to throw your lights on IMF. So, is the IMF truly neutral, or does it function as an extension of Western strategic interests?
IMF is International Monetary Fund, which I am surprised that they are still paying Pakistan. As I had mentioned earlier in this podcast itself, that Pakistan has by and large been confirmed in the world as a terrorist state. IMF, which has grants that have been given to them earlier, I think they've already received 8 grants or 9 grants in the past. I'm not too sure exactly as to how many they've received. I am not sure whether they have even been able to monitor if those grants have gone to those areas for which it was provided, or are those grants being misused by them for nefarious activities like promoting terrorism. So it's a surprise to me. So which brings me to a question, which is again a little conflicting question in my mind, that is it being given to Pakistan to put them into a debt trap? If so, what are they achieving by putting Pakistan into a debt trap when already they are a economically failed and a very weak nation in this matter? Maybe they feel that now with this operation, this little skirmish with India that has happened, they have been jolted a bit more. Maybe there are certain understandings that the international community has with the leaders of Pakistan, and hence it was given. But yes, definitely I was quite surprised as to why they've been given this loan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this was so unexpected that this much is happening and the nation knows who is behind all this. Still, they are getting funded by IMF. So this is actually very surprising. I would also want to ask you, if a nuclear escalation between India and Pakistan were to begin, what might the first 72 hours look like, sir?
Nuclear escalation is the thread that Pakistan has been hanging on to ever since they created the nuclear bomb within their country. And they have been using this as a wild card every time. Perhaps to relate to the previous question, maybe this is also one of the things which IMF is considered while giving them the loan. It's not so easy to just throw a nuclear bomb. This has only been done twice before in the mankind's history, Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of the Second World War. After that, there are many more nations that have acquired nuclear capability, and it's just there as a deterrent to threaten people. It's part of saber-rattling. And I just pray to God that there is no nuclear fallout between any nations, including India and Pakistan. If the fallout does happen to happen, it is not going to happen isolated. It is going to have the blessings of some other big powers, other big nuclear powers who are going to turn a blind eye towards this. India has taken the stance of doing the second strike. Means they will not attack with a nuclear weapon ever. That's what their stance in the world is. But yes, they will retaliate. Should they be attacked, they will retaliate. That is India's stance. Pakistan, on the other hand, they are not resorting to this. They are all out saying that yes, we'll do first strike. So if this should happen, it could be devastation. The world is going to get affected. It is going to draw in a lot of misery, lot of poverty. It is going to shake up the world tremendously, and it might set off a reaction all over, which will be the end.
So, in your opinion, war is not a solution?
War is never a solution. Unless it becomes some fanatic like, say, Hitler had to be sorted out only by getting defeated in a war. Otherwise, war is never a solution. Everywhere the wars that have happened, the solution has not been because of the war.
But sir, if happened, so when it comes to launching of, since we are talking about nuclear weapon, so when it comes to launching of nuclear weapons, is it solely a nation's internal decision, or does international pressure actually influence that call?
I think I answered that just a little while back. When you see, whenever if something does happen nuclear, it will be having the blessings of other nations who are also possibly nuclear power nations or very, very powerful nations in the world. Without their blessings, I don't think it's feasible to happen.
Talking about international blessings and everything, what do you think? To what extent is China silently shaping the outcome of India-Pakistan tensions through diplomacy, arms deals, and strategic alliances?
China has a different ball game altogether. China has got very, very long vision, very, very strategic thoughts, and that is why they have emerged quietly and silently over the last few years as a world reckonable power, now at the moment second to the US only. So they are very keen to establish a stranglehold all over Southern Asia so that they can control the Indian Ocean comfortably. And at this moment, the only country they're not comfortable with in South Asia is India. Otherwise, if you just examine it, China has got its not only foothold, but to a large degree control over the following countries: Pakistan, Nepal, Tibet, they have got full control over. Now, Bangladesh is coming into their clutches, Maldives, Sri Lanka. So who's in the center? India is in the center. All around India, China has got their bases, their ports, their economy. They are very strong all around India. India is the only one which has not yet been cowed down by China as yet. Surely China would like to do that. So this is a game which China is observing and watching, and let's see what the fallout is.
Also, Trump has asked both the nations, India and Pakistan, to de-escalate the issues that are happening across the countries. So what will you say on that? Is it him just wanting to interfere and acting as a peace between the two nations, or is it something else?
A lot of nations have suggested the same thing that Trump has suggested. A lot of European nations have done it, Russia has done it, and many more. And so has the US. The US is a leader in the world, and Trump is trumpeting a lot also these days. So Trump is eventually, he's even claiming to have been instrumental in this entire ceasefire that has happened by now. Trump is definitely going to be having interest in this region because of what I just mentioned to you about Russia's strength, China's strength, having surrounded India with various measures and all the surrounding countries. Definitely America would be interested. India's location, the Indian subcontinent, as it is per se, is of strategic significance. The Indian Ocean, which is the vast ocean, is controlled if you have a foothold in India. So certainly America would be interested in this. And at the same time, Trump is going to be looking for goodwill from both the countries. In the past, also, America perhaps doesn't learn from their mistakes, or they have some deliberate thoughts which are beyond us, is that they have been favoring Pakistan a lot over the years, including during the 1971 war. And in spite of being bitten so many times by Pakistan, they still seem to be going along with it.
So, sir, you tell me, in your opinion, should there be an all-out conventional warfare? What do you think will be the outcome if it happens?
All-out conventional warfare is not a joke. It's something very serious. These skirmishes are also not a joke, but they are much less serious as compared to a conventional war. So I just hope it doesn't happen. It's not going to give anybody any advantage. Neither will Pakistan get back its Kashmir, nor will India get back the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, nor will it give you lasting peace forever and after, seeing the relationship between the two countries. So it's going to achieve nothing, really speaking. But still, if some desperate person decides that we have to go out for it, this is what I foresee. Wars are expensive. Pakistan is on the brink of poverty. Their economy is slumped to, they are heavily in debt. How will they be able to sustain a war? India's economy is growing, and our Prime Minister is wanting to make our economy grow further and further so that we achieve to be the most economically sound nation much before 2040 or 2050 has been predicted. And he's achieving it to a large extent because India's economy is growing. A war at this stage is going to hamper our progress where our economy growth is concerned. However, if war is thrust upon us, we have the money, we'll be able to sustain it. What will happen? At the most, our economic supremacy is going to get delayed by a few years. A lot of lessons will be learned if this conventional warfare happens. Outcomes I by and large told you. The moment that war starts, there will be interference, there will be a ceasefire, somebody will come in between, stop the fight, etc., etc. That's what the outcome is going to be. There are going to be people who are killed, there are going to be families who are without their husbands, fathers, sons, etc. And now in this scenario without their daughters and mothers also and sisters. So conventional war is not going to achieve anything as such. Now, the shortcomings that I look at, Pakistan economically is not going to be able to afford a war. They will be getting further and further into debt trap, as what we mentioned earlier. India, though prepared, has also got a few shortcomings, if I may say so now. In the last few years, the strength of the Indian army has been allowed to deplete by approximately 1 lakh people. So we will again build it up. If the lesson is learned in the war, we will again build it up. Second thing is that we have started an experiment with the armed forces that is called Agniveer. You all know what is Agniveer. Yeah. Per se, I don't think it was a good decision to experiment any such thing with the armed forces. There were other government agencies where Agniveer could have been experimented to see if it's a successful venture or not a successful venture. Railways, banking, many other sectors are there where Agniveer concept should have been tried first and not in such an important essential service like the armed forces. What is Agniveer? Agniveer is recruiting a person for a fixed period of 5 years. After that, he may stay on, he may not stay on. 5 years is inadequate time to train a soldier to that level. Yes, he'll learn how to fire a weapon, but to train him to that level that he's willing to obey orders, dash into a hail of bullets just because he's been ordered to go there, he will dash into the fire and go there, is 5 years is inadequate. At this moment, if you have a war, this Agniveer process has started already 4 years back or so. These people are on the brink of losing and their jobs and going back home. You think he's going to now say, I'm going to fight for the country, mere 1 saal reh gaya, mere ko ghar jaane do. He might say that. Or he might say, chalo, let me prove myself in war and I'll get my regular enrollment thereafter. So this Agniveer is something which is, in my opinion, slightly weakened our troops.
Speaking of Honorable Prime Minister Modi, which you mentioned in the answer previously, कि कहीं ना कहीं he has helped the economy grow. So I have a question on this for you, that if Prime Minister Modi hadn't been in power, how different would Operation Sindoor have played out both in decision making and execution?
Who are you putting in place of Mr. Modi? First tell me that. Because how different depends upon somebody else may have been stronger than him, somebody else may have been weaker than him. But personally, since you asked me this question, I think the response has been very good, has been bold, ethically very correct. India has struck back only on the terrorist organizations. We have showed the world our intelligence is not weak. We know exactly where they were. We have got technical expertise to strike, pinpoint exactly at those places. There has been minimal collateral damage over there. So I think it's been a very bold and a very correct action on his part. And all of this would not have been possible without the political will.
True. Now I will discuss this, that since a lot of things have happened, a lot of series of events have been happening, and still Pakistan is still not accepting the state of terrorism that they have already created. So while Pakistan continues to deny links to terrorism, how do we interpret the fact that the top Pakistani ministers have been seen attending funerals of known terrorists, including family members of Masood Azhar? Does this not openly expose their double standards?
You know, you answered the question perfectly yourself, that they have got double standards. There's no two doubts about that. The world also knows they've got double standards. On one hand, they say we don't harbor terrorists, and Then they say that the terrorist hideouts have been attacked by us, and those same terrorist funerals, cremations, whatever is happening over there, their big brass is attending it themselves. Why go far? There was Osama bin Laden, for whom Pakistan had also been tasked to look for him. And he was found next to their own military establishment. He was picked up from there. Now, that was a blatant lie of Pakistan that was caught. So this is a known fact that they have double standards. They say one thing, they mean something else. Even now, they misled their entire public. If you see the media from their side, they misled the entire public over there. They feel that they've destroyed India. India's on its knees, and the republic over there is rejoicing. Whereas again, like I mentioned in the last podcast, I spoke to my friends in Kashmir, in Srinagar, as late as this morning. They are very happy that the ceasefire has happened. In fact, last night, when the ceasefire happened, and again retaliation, attack was coming from Pakistan, we spoke at that time also. He says, "Ye kya ho raha hai?"
I mean, I hope this comes to peace and no more fights, no more escalations are happening. But I fully and truly believe in the government of India, our armed forces, our defense system, our army that is fighting for us, and we are able to sleep peacefully at night. So Jai Hind to them and a salute to them. And I hope this comes to peace. Also, it was really very insightful of you to talk about the series of incidents and attacks that are happening right now. And I hope that we will continue discussing further history and wars of India and Pakistan that have happened. Thank you so much.